I would hope so.
I very much share that opinion.
Oh, the stream is live. So there is that.
Oh. Well, I'm up for it if we are starting.
Testing.
Well, Arthur is still muted, but I can see that the stream is. The stream just started. I received a notification for it.
Very good.
Okay. I can hear a voice.
There's an Arthur.
There's an Arthur. Very good.
Yay!
Huzzah.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, but we are here. The Arthurs are here.
Yes, but
Okay, let's see here. Let's get this music going. I see there was too much of a crowd to pass up. All right.
Oh, how are we all doing today?
I am most excellent. Just a tiny bit tired. The inactivity was killing me.
I am just waiting for the cast to begin to fight.
That is good.
Alrighty. Alright, let's do this. Greetings, everybody. This is Monstercast number 46. We're going to be talking about monstrous body modifications. What kind you would allow yourself to the limits of a near sci-fi type possibility. How are you guys? I'm sorry that I'm late. Quite late. It's a record.
No harm done.
Is everything good? Can everybody hear me okay? Am I cutting out or
Yeah.
anything?
I
You sound
have
good.
positive. I can hear you positively.
Okay.
Same.
Alright. I heard that Donde caught Jono and Pro with their pants off. Is everything alright over there now, Donde? If it is, we can really get started here. I wonder what they were doing this time. I wonder what if melons were involved. I'm assuming so.
God dang.
Likely.
Okay. Alrighty, got
I'm really not in a position where I really want to ask.
True. Indeedo. Alright, so let me get the colors better here. And then I'm going to call someone off to get this party started on their topic. On their side, I mean. And, oh yes, and I have to share on behalf of Dog Danza for last week, because I forgot to do that. Last week we talked about our monstrous selves, which was pretty interesting.
Yes, I saw you made the thumbnail my image, which makes me incredibly happy.
Let me see here. Ah, yes. You were in the thumbnail. See, we honored you. So,
Hey, I am useful.
The
oh,
first of
let's see here. I don't want to make things. Okay. All right. Doesn't seem like there's anything too private here. Okay. So he said this is my monster. It's a dog humanoid, partly based off of the Xenocephali monsters, the dogmen. The whole thing is actually a metaphor for something. Its habitat is caves, representing my introvert personality. Its main weapon is a reference to my love of medieval weapons. Its strong build is what I want to work towards in the future. And lastly, the dog name is because I love dogs, and as they are loyal, just like I am loyal to those I trust. That's why I chose this to represent me.
That is amazing.
Nice. Actually, I'm
How
kind of
is this
happy
posted again? I didn't quite see that.
to share it this time around. Actually, let me copy and paste it. That's what I should have done.
it was
If I
done
would be more professional. Yeah, that's a great way to start today off, I think. Please have a great day and stay safe, he says. I hope he's doing well back there. It was awesome having him back for that short while. There you go, guys. Alrighty. Pizza Man's gone already? He was too tired. He was too tired to make it. Look at that. Slayer wannabe. Too tired. Okay. Let's see who we got in the chat here. Over on YouTube. Let's pull that out. We got Raincrawler. Sounds good. Hello, everyone. Hello, Raincrawler. Awesome to see you again. Okay, so I'm hearing some people are... It's late for some people. I get it. So, C, if you would like to start us off, tell me what kind of body modification you would allow yourself. I'd say at this current state, in our current state of reality and lives.
Well, for all intents and purposes, I would like to have replaced several parts of my, well, not replaced, augment some parts of my body with external limbs, appendages, that enable to me to grab things. You hold more things. Imagine it like arms, extra arm.
Okay, how many more and what would they look like, really?
I mean, at least 2 extra arms, so I can show up at Star Wars conventions.
Nice.
And I'll just have to be able to, if I can afford those 2 arms, extra additional arms, I should be able to afford 4 lightsabers.
I like the way you think, see.
It's a very simple way, but it is a most effective one.
Not
Plus, I do love having things going on around me, and while having a computer, I can sit and draw stuff while still doing other things, which would be useful, I would
Very
say.
good. Now, with these arms and hands, would they have regular fingers, you think, or maybe like 2-fingered kind of claws, or what do you think?
I mean, if I could go the full length and go full General Grievous, I would slowly start to replace every part of me, but this is a slight fantasy. Oh, rather, science fiction.
Okay.
So I would say that if I could start with having additional arms before I start replacing my arms, that would be nice. No, I mean, there's a lot more than just those weapons.
Very nice. Extra arms. Great. All right, guys.
That is a beginning, of course.
First of all,
if we are going to go full realistic, I think I should get an eye surgery just to get. I'm using glasses. It's very painful afterwards, but
eye surgery. So what would you do with your eyes? Well, what kind of vision would you like?
I would just like eyes, just be able to see things better without glasses.
I see. Okay, so replacing glasses. Got you. I wouldn't mind that as well.
I just never got read into what it takes and what it costs because I hear a lot about it, but I never really truly got into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I detest contact lenses because, oh god, poking myself in the eyes, literally like Dead Space, the second game. Those guys that play that will understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well,
I will not go deeper into that.
ever since I started contacts, I've been very happy with them. I don't wear glasses for that reason because I don't like the possibility of something falling off my head, and when it falls off, I lose a large bit of my perception. I'm not for that.
Yeah, that is a fair point.
But as I grow older and less active, I might go back to glasses. But LASIK, yeah, I don't think so, because LASIK also lasts only for like 10 years, and then you have to update it too. And, yeah, LASIK, they gotta cut your eye open, basically place lenses inside your eye. So if you don't like poking your eye, and you'd prefer a laser cutting your eye open, that's something to think about too. But I really heard it's not that bad.
I mean, that is pretty much argumentation as we know it.
Yeah.
I saw a video recently about someone talking about transhumanism, or rather, expanding upon humanity as a concept. I mean, the fact that if you could, what's it called, enhance your life, or rather, not just augmentate it, but not enlarge it. What is the name for prolong your life? What would the place be? Because I can't find any sensible ways for me to
Extend.
live longer. Life extension technologies, rejuvenating treatments.
Hello, that is me.
Interesting. I don't know, just prolonging your life. Artificial immortality.
Keep your sexual fantasies to yourself.
There is a very interesting thing I found online. I'll just give you guys a hint of it, because I don't want to give it away yet, as I may be making a video on it. But basically, keeping a head alive. Russians did it.
Kill me. Later.
So I don't want to talk about it anymore, because I'd like to delve deeper and see where we can get with that. If not, then I'd like to talk about it here later. But it's pretty weird, and it's real. And yeah. So, and actually it relates to this pretty well. First of all, guys, any reactions? I heard some reactions. Any more thoughts on Dog Danza and him being a dog man?
It is quite. I appreciate that. Like myself, he based his monstrous form on his persona, not what he'd want to be, but what he most thinks he would be.
I mean, I hope it will be an Necron. By now, if I don't become a Necron, it would be kind of awkward.
You become a Skaven. Congratulations.
I'll die. I'll die.
It depends on your fur color.
The dog experiment. That's right, Ringcrawler. Alright, and our reactions to Z, and mainly him talking about having more arms. I think he mentioned about two more arms.
Yes, just about two. Too many, and I would lose track of what's it called, what I'm doing. And
I really like that.
you can only reach a relevant amount of arms before it will become too entangled. I only have that many senses and that much brain power to move. And I can barely get up in the morning. That says something.
I'd be happy with one more. I just need one more arm, and it would just work for me so well. Sometimes when I get moody, I tell my wife, if I just had that one more arm, I could do that for you right now. But I just can't. I can't right now.
Is that the kind of video you want to make about your third arm?
No, we don't talk about my third arm. At least not here. Not on this website.
That is a topic only privy to his wife.
Wait, what? Oh my.
All right. And now I'd like to, let's see, Jono's still getting here, I think. Chris, who else is on the other side of the world where the moon or the day is waning?
Me.
I know Chris is. Who else is kind of tired out there, ready to go to bed? I know Dio is too. Chris,
I know it's late for Procrastitron, but I'm not sure if he's tired. He's usually the energetic sort.
true, he's a fighter too. So, plus he's been naughty with his pants under his knees. Thank you, Donde. I see you're doing a lot of thinking today, Donde. We need that here. Thank you very much. Okay, Chris, let us have it.
Oh, what I'll be going for is relatively simple, and also not that particularly impressive. And to be fair, it is on that fine border between science fiction and science fact because it is not that far out to be incapable of being done. Specifically, I'm referring to one of the abilities the Zerg have evolved from StarCraft. Well, for example, while the Tyranids, some of their units have bodily regeneration, all of the Zerg units have that ability because as a species they have evolved this particular enzyme that looks for dead or dying tissue or cells in that particular case for dying cells. The enzyme envelops them, and then as a
Nice.
product of absorbing them and decomposing the dead tissue, it produces new healthy cells, which is what provides the regeneration. So while a Zerg organism can be killed, if for example you cause severe enough trauma to it, blow its brains out or just explode the damn thing, or melt it, Zerg, regardless of what type of unit it is, it cannot die of age, as that enzyme continuously feeds on the dead or dying tissue and produces brand new cells.
So
And
it's literally a mechanism inside of the cell that is, oh, right inside of the body that's literally just
yeah,
self-preservation, so to speak.
yes, so
How
they
elegant.
can yeah, and literally they cannot die of aging. And even if, for example, they suffer a grievous wound, like for example losing a limb or a wound that does not kill you, if they manage to stay alive for long enough, eventually it will regrow. So something like this would be having such an enzyme tied to my genetic code. So when, for example, I say lost an arm or something, I would just need to stay alive for like a year or two, and a new one will just naturally grow back on.
Right.
And it's not something far fetched to see because there is already a creature on Earth that is technically immortal in terms of age, a type of jellyfish that uses essentially the same type of thing and just rebirths itself. Still the same organism, but
Mm.
with brand new memories and cognizance, you could say, if
Interesting.
jellyfish are cognizant. But that is why they have remained unchanged for tens of millions of years and are technically the only immortal thing on the planet. Age wise, at least, they can still be eaten and killed,
Right.
but can't die of age. But I would prefer something more akin to the evolutionary adaptation of the Zerg since I don't need to reset my entire brain.
Hmm.
Literally every cell that reaches its capacity and expires is used as food and nourishment for brand new cells to be made. And this is an unending process tied to the genetics, meaning that while you can still be killed and die, you are biologically immortal in terms of sustaining injury
Right.
and aging.
Hmm. So basically, the blueprint stays immortal because I
Basically.
remember hearing. I'm not sure now on the facts of this that we replace all our cells over a certain period of time. I'm not sure what that period is. So essentially, we are ever changing, and we're not who we were before, but our structure, our blueprint stays in that form. So, and then into addition, how much of our body is composed of bacteria and other organisms, more than who we are. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, that also adds to an interesting side of this. So, yeah, even though that jellyfish goes on living, it's just not the same jellyfish anymore. But it is.
Well,
So,
mentally, you could say. So if we could isolate the
Physically.
particular,
mm-hmm.
I don't know, mentally, physically, it remains the exact same organism as its
Right.
brain matter kind of resets.
I
Mm-hmm.
But if
mean, in all due honesty, every 7 year, everything in us have been replaced too. So we are technically not the same character person.
In the case of the jellyfish, it literally starts out as not knowing anything, whilst as us humans, we still have some vestige of memory and the like. And so it is possible as gene tailoring becomes more and more advanced. I mean, they're trying to actually, in Japan, trying to mix animal and human DNA and all that nonsense.
It is
There's
only a
also
matter of time until we got cat girls.
Also, fun fact, I think it's in Arizona. There is a farm that has goats milk mixed in with spider DNA, and when they
Ah,
milk
yes.
them, they also harvest a web or silk.
Okay, that is incredibly handy, despite
Right,
being
right.
incredibly creepy.
So, if within the next, say, 10, possibly 20 years, if enough research is put into it, we could, isolate the specific part of that gene in the jellyfish that only renews the cellular structure
Nice.
basically indefinitely,
Mm-hmm.
and hand tailor it to something more akin to what the Zerg have. So an
I
enzyme
uh,
just hunts decaying tissue and produces brand new tissue.
I would like
And
to
yeah,
point something
Nice.
out. It's a jellyfish. First and foremost, it is probably one of the most basic organisms in the entirety of creation. I would, however, suggest that maybe the jellyfish is only a way to the solution, but it's not the solution. A
well,
jellyfish is, for all intents and purposes, some of the most primitive types of life we have. And I mean, no disrespect towards any jellyfish that is listening to this, but but I don't think that it would be enough to just reanimate us, or rather, keep us alive for extended periods of time.
Oh, that is what I mean. It's not necessarily. It's not. Shouldn't be the same thing. It will require to be tailored specifically to us. But essentially, to use the jellyfish as a, how to put it, they have something that kind of fits the bill. So to use them as something to begin with, and from there we can tailor it to be more suitable to our need,
Mm-hmm.
and to possibly be something more akin to what the Zerg have, e.g., something that just looks for dead cells or dying cells that are about to expire. Like, they doesn't touch the healthy cells. It's just the
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
nuance that the cells themselves are expired, no longer useful to the body. It draws it to them, and in the process, it consumes them. And as waste, it produces brand new healthy cells. Now, there's of course the problem that might cause cancer, but that's why we need to,
Yeah.
work out the science better.
Well, it's
Oh,
in the
okay.
realm of possibility, and how things go is if it's already there, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of
Yeah,
time. So,
it's already in nature, and
mm-hmm.
humanity's basic shtick is adjusting nature to our needs. So it is, yeah, it's
Yep.
one of the more matter of time type of things out there.
Alrighty. So, C with some extra mechanical arms. Uh, Chris
And
with
C
some
and Chris wants to be a jellyfish.
healing enzyme. I think C missed the whole thing.
No, I didn't.
Uh,
I just heard jellyfish, and I can't
Yeah.
get
Not
over
a
that.
jellyfish. I would prefer to be a lizard bug monster. That would be more fitting.
I mean, if I had to choose, I wouldn't mind being a reptile. I mean, being part of the ruling elite of this world, that would be nice.
No, if some translucency came with that, Chris, that could be interesting too.
I don't need to see my veins and stuff.
I
That'd be
don't
creepy.
need to see inside of
Agreed.
you, Chris. Please don't.
Hence, I said it wouldn't necessarily be cool, but it would be interesting.
See, I am going to rip you apart, and I'm going to look inside of you without translation.
That's the thing. I'm a skeleton. I really don't have anything inside.
All right, and
Doesn't mean I won't stop me.
we're entering the realms of fantasy now. So, Chris with
Yeah.
enzymes, self-healing enzymes, or sped up healing
Regenerative
enzymes and
power.
rejuvenating enzymes, and Chris, and then Z with robotic arms. Let's go to the next person. Any responses? I'll read them out for you guys. Until then,
Well, also, Z's thing is also technically not far off. I mean, we're nowhere near
True.
Star Wars level of things, but there are people who have had, who are double or quadruple amputees, and they've had multiple bionic limbs attached
Well,
to
the
them
thing is
that
that in
function.
bionic limbs, it is a much more complicated thing. The difference
True.
between a bionic limb and a fully functioning additional limb is that there usually is some kind of mortuary function that the nervous system has gotten accustomed to.
Well,
Right.
that is the thing, precisely. As with the enzyme thing, it is probable at our current technological development, and with more research, it is not very unlikely to actually become an actual thing.
On that we
Right.
agree.
It's in the realm of being a possibility
Rather
within
than
the
a
somewhat near future.
machination.
Yeah, once
And
we hit
you
that
also
point.
have it is it is not technically that hard of a science because there was a man in a Taiwanese or Vietnamese village, like a very it's nowhere near a metropolitan city level
Mm-hmm.
type of thing, just a very basic settlement, and with just basic engineering, the man who is a one-arm amputee managed to create himself a one bionic arm to use
Nice.
with no available materials there.
I
Well.
mean,
Hmm. It would be interesting to see how long it would take your brain to be able to handle that well. Like your feet. Most of us kind of suck with our feet. We can pick up a pencil and things like that, but we can't play guitar with our feet unless we were born without arms or haven't had arms in a long time. Then we get used to
there is an
using
old
that.
saying I would like to bring to attention due to this podcast's nature. If God wanted man to fly, it would have given us wings.
God
I
can
feel
go
like
suck
it's
it.
relevant.
God can go suck it.
Well, then we have to blame this God because it gave us this brain to do these things to ourselves, so it works.
Yes.
So we can have wings in the end. Let's fly. Another good one. So anyway, yeah, that would be interesting to see how long the brain would be able to handle that. It's at the moment it's hard to even think of it. It's almost like trying to imagine a color you've never seen, although a bit simpler than that. In this case,
the color spectrum is one that is quite interesting.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see where this keeps going. I don't think we'll be delving too far away from the topics we've hit upon so far. Let's have Dio. Dio, do you have something to share? If you're listening out there still, Dio, you're welcome to type anything in right now. If you don't have something, please let me know so I can move on to the next person. All right, we got Ringcrawler. Let's see how many viewers we got here. Possibly not many because, yeah, our timing. I don't see Dio typing anything out. If anybody talks to Dio or something or shouts him out, let him know. In that case, let's see where Procrastitron is at. As long as his pants are up. Pro? There's Pro. Oh, he was ready. Look at that. He jumped up with that. Thank you, Pro. He says, my choice will need you guys to know of split brain syndrome. Split brain or colossal syndrome is a type of disconnection syndrome where the corpus callosum connecting the two hemispheres of the brain is severed to some degree. After the right and left brain are separated, each hemisphere will have its own separate perception concepts and impulses to act. So essentially, I want to have this, but to a far more advanced stage where I would legit have two active minds within my head. Let the advanced neuroscientists and geneticists of the near future grant me Pro 2. I'd love to have someone to constantly talk to and bounce ideas off of. Plus, now I'll be able to justify me talking to myself. It's definitely doable in my opinion. We're just not there yet since we know so little of our brains. Also, here's a great video if you guys want to know more about split brain syndrome.
So you want medically induced schizophrenia?
I mean, schizophrenia is more than just believing you're two people. Schizophrenia involves a long series of possibilities that could be caused by malfunctions inside of the brain.
Oh, to highly simplify it, what I'm perceiving from this is that you'd like a medically induced schizophrenia.
Now, adding to this, like extra limbs, as he was talking about, an arm or two, I could see this being helpful with having 2 extra arms. But then again, if it's so much of a separated brain, like another head, you're going to run into complications. So I think I'd just rather have my own brain slowly
Yeah, sometimes
develop.
2 heads are not better than 1.
There you go. But
Imagine
this
if you
has
piss
other
off the other
things.
you, and he just randomly takes over and decides to mess with you.
Although this is still not 2 heads exactly. It still is
Yeah, it's
1.
still you.
So it's halfway
It still
there.
has that.
So
I mean, the thing is not that the same. It should be the same personality. That should be in theory.
just imagine that the realms of creativity you would be able to get upon faster, and the contemplation you
think my
would have, and
creativity
making
can-
decisions and not making wrong decisions. Because it is, yeah, you have that addition of like having another person with you, yet being your own person still. So it has these benefits.
And see, that's I'd be against that on the same principle why I do not want AI. Whenever we try to get something smart, it will want independence, and this thing will technically be trapped and imprisoned inside your own head, and it will want control. So
Hmm.
it's not very healthy.
Hmm.
It could try to get rid of you.
That is true.
Yeah, it reminds me of some movies similar like this, or cartoons, and anywhere I've seen that, such as a little tumor head coming out and wanting to separate and control you. Not sure where I saw that specific example. But this
Okay, that's freaky.
This explains a little bit more of why Donde caught a pro in that situation earlier. Raincrawler says, that sounds similar to the way a dolphin can sleep with half of his brain and the other half can watch. A good point. Yeah, things like that.
Are all dolphins actually schizophrenic?
All right. That's a good one, Pro. I like that. And that is a fascinating video. I think I will set it off in the next tab to watch later. Thank you for that. I've never heard of the actual syndrome, as they call it, so we'll look into that. Thank you, Pro. Dio, you are still welcome to share. Please let me know if you want to or not, so I stop bugging you. With that, I see John is here, and we got Darth Phoenix also in that part of the world. Correct, Darth? So, Darth, if you would like to share on your behalf, what monstrous modification... Oh, boy. What monstrous body modification you would allow yourself at this point in life? I wonder if Dog Danzo would allow for a dog head to be implemented onto his body with his brain placed into that dog head. Deep thoughts with Jack Handy. And Dio just walked out. Nice. And this is what I get. This is what I get for being late. Or whatever. Darth. All right. You don't know? Okay.
What did I miss?
Some stuff.
I think it's a good time for... Is Jono actually here? He's not actually in the chat.
Dio
yet,
came
so-
on briefly.
He did. He's not really paying attention. Well, if he shares, I will read on his behalf. If not, then not. I think it'll be a good time for, well, Darth Phoenix, if you want to share, you're welcome to. Also, Jonos from that side of the world, when he's ready, he can share. In the meantime, we do have Bago arrived not too long ago. And we do have JMPF.
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Greetings.
No,
Hello.
So are you saying that it's time for me to put out there what I got planned?
Yes, I think it's your turn. I was certain. Sorry, just still a bit sleepy.
Yes. Worry
Yes,
not,
boss.
friends.
You can describe what you want put inside your butt.
Wait, what?
Okay, Bago, please tell us what monstrous body modification you would allow yourself in this reality at this time.
Well, I'd like to get my eyes fixed / enhanced
Oh,
because
Cool.
because
Second
they're
vote to that.
they don't work all that great. I'd also I would probably want a tail because fifth appendage would be nice.
Okay. A fifth appendage. Okay.
Like a
Another
tail
arm.
because
Okay.
that could be less like a arm and more like a tentacle, I guess, because those are handy for more things. Don't get dirty minds.
I mean, tentacles would work.
I could agree with that. We already do have 2 arms and hands. Let's have something a little different that is also very versatile.
Tentacles!
I didn't say multiple, but that could.
So a single tentacle coming out of your butt.
Or do
Okay,
your
so
Why-
that is wishful
why do you-
That is wishful thinking, Chris. Don't keep that to yourself.
Yeah, you know what? Don't assume I'm gonna put my tentacle in your butt.
On the opposite end, I see.
so tell us, Bago, how would you see the possibility of this being done? Are we talking mechanical now or organic?
I was imagining more of a mechanical sort of thing going on there, with maybe synthetic skin over it. As far as the eyes, I have no idea. Pardon the pun. Also, just basic little things to increase general body functions, lifespan, strength, etc. would also be generally. I'd probably get my because there's holes in. I'm sorry, I just got distracted by procrastinatrons.
Procrastinatrons, what? Bro, keep him up. All right, let me see. Here.
Procrastinatron.
Interesting. That would be interesting if you had not only a tentacle,
Multiple tendrils could be helpful.
but a
Continue,
tendril,
sorry.
but with suckers as well, like octopus tentacles, so you can grab things easier and such.
Well, that is the difference. Tentacles are the thing that have the sucky things on them. Tendrils are without that.
True.
So
Yeah, that's why I changed to tendrils. I imagined that they'd probably have a good enough grip with the
I mean,
um.
it should be easy enough to have. I mean, if you can program and control a tendril, you should be able to at least have a pinch or something at the end. I mean, that would
Right.
make that logic.
Right, hence tentacles would seem very useful, though hard to make artificially, but something with little claws or branching out tentacles at the end of that tendril, I mean, then yeah, it would make
I
it
mean,
easier to
if
grab
I did
things and
have
such.
multiple also coming from my back or something, go full Doc Ock that way, I probably wouldn't do the
Mad scientist
clamps
one?
at the end because they're unsightly.
What is unsightly?
The
To be fair, though, the Doc Ock.
I'm gonna put.
To be fair, though, the Doc Ock tendril things, those are awesome. Very much so appreciate those.
I think they are
It
too.
depends on which
I think
ones.
the movie showed them
The
well
original
as well.
ones were pretty bad.
Spider-Man
But,
2. Minus the mind control thing.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
Also, thank you,
That was fascinating.
Procrastitron.
Yeah, I like how powerful they were, how big, but
And still how compact they were.
mm-hmm. That's long.
I'd probably want body augmentations just in general to help me deal with the weight, like reinforcing my spine and such, which the tendrils would probably be connected to my spine in some form, mostly.
Okay.
I mean,
wired.
that is also large nervous.
All right.
Well, if we are talking Doc Ock tendrils, you will literally be able to walk on them, so you wouldn't really have to worry about that.
True, if it's that size, yeah.
I mean,
And power.
he's also got a weird mental link going on with them that is in a lot of the media with him.
Yeah, so as I said, Doc Ock tentacles, but minus the part where they have a mind of their own. They're just a subset of your own mind.
Yeah, no, that's what I was talking about. In a lot of the media with him, he's just got a psychic link to them. They're still a tool, but they're like literally part of him. It's like him being he's been able to control it while it's.
Well, see, that is something that we can actually pull out of 40K, actually, because when Space Marines are made, the normal human's brain doesn't know how to use all the organs that are implanted into them. That is why the new initiates are literally hypnotized and brainwashed to be able to know how to use them. So it feels natural to them, and they're actually able to use those organs. So after you get them installed, you just pop into your local hypnotist, and it's like, hey, make me believe I know how to use these things, and voila, your brain now does it.
And that was my music pertaining to anything 40K brought up during the stream. So now we have that bit too. If anybody heard
that. Those would probably be very handy. I might just get. Oh shoot.
Okay. I didn't introduce everybody. I think it's good and high time to introduce everybody, and Jono is here. We'll see if anybody else joins in. But we have a good amount here. We have, 6, 9 people, 10 really total. So we have Dande over in text. Welcome back, Dande. From the US, then from the European countries, we have Darth Phoenix. We have JMPF south of the US. We have Jono.
Hi.
Back in Europe. We have Chris over in Europe as well.
Hello.
We have Pro down south of Europe, far down south
John
from
Hawk,
Europe.
the Kaiju Whisperer, said hello.
There we go. Thank you for that. And then we have Bago from the US. Welcome, Bago.
I want a longer tongue as well. Yeah, that's me.
There we go. And we have one more European nation, 2 more European nation folks here, and that is C. So welcome back, C. And Dio. Okay.
Shut up, Procrastitron. It doesn't matter. We all know
Yes,
you're
you
in your
are,
mom's
Pro.
bed.
Well, you are very south when we're bringing up Europe. If I would have said Africa, then I would have said south, in the south. But since I mentioned Europe, then very far south. The deep south. Way down in hell. No. But quite south of that. Okay, so...
Oh, shit. Where I am in the south, they just curse and burn crosses and shoot guns. Sounds a lot like some of my family.
Sounds worse than
Unnecessary information.
Pro's sound. South. Okay, so keeping it simple, Balgo would like some tendrils. Chris would like some ever-rejuvenating enzymes. C.
I did mention that I just wanted some basic body augmentations to extend my existence and stuff as well.
We
But
all
the main
want
thing
more
is
and more. But I gotta choose one for you guys when I'm introducing it. And C.
Sorry.
No worries. One more appendage as well, such as an arm or 2 more arms. Mechanical, we're talking with him, most likely. And then Pro with the multi-brained type syndrome, splitting his brain in two. Interesting. So that is so far the summary for our folks here. Any questions or comments for Abago? He did mention his tongue there at the end too.
He vanished for some reason, but yeah,
He did vanish.
Why
Why a long
because
tongue?
he wants to compensate for something else.
That is a good question. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next person. I did ask Darth. I think Darth doesn't have anything to share today. He's just listening up and sharing other things. That's all right, Darth. So let's move on to Jono. Jono's over in Europe. It's late. Let's give him the moment, if he may. Jono, will you be in voice at all? Looks like he'll be in text. All right, Jono, what would you do? The musician. Okay. Let's quickly guess what he's going to say. Gills. Okay. Damn it. That would have been a very plausible guess. His element is water. He loves the marine. Because I am an ocean man. That's an awesome one, actually. I'm going to shout out that one.
Ocean man, take you by the hand, let me understand.
I think a lot of us didn't think of gills, actually. We were thinking so much about what we want right now to help us now. But I think that is an excellent one. Sounds neat. Waterworld,
Everyone
man.
has their quirk.
Jono, have you seen Waterworld? I know Chris has, and we support that movie.
It is a good movie. I don't care what people say.
It is a good pain.
Yes, I love.
Have you seen it, Jono? If not, then you should see it because it's called
Have you-
Waterworld. Waterworld.
Is he still with us, or has he joined on the side?
It's very possible. Cool. Let's stay alert for some snoring sounds. That's always fun. It just shows how committed people are to this. Aware of Prose Ocean. Oh, wow, out there. Prose Ocean, what the hell is that? Now, some chip to improve at guitar without studying. Gotcha. So a fishman playing guitar. Love it. That's great. Now, Jono, do you have any thoughts about how that could be done? I think that's quite a possibility. I think that's more just as realistic as some of the things we've talked about thus far. Or even some mechanism built into us to help us breathe underwater. First, if we can make or replicate something like gills in technological form. Now, it's interesting because with all these implants, we have two ways to go. We have biological and we have technological. We have also the combination of both, which is what's happening to us, but it could be within the technology itself that we're applying to ourselves.
I just realized I've been talking for all this time and the microphone has been turned off. Hello.
Beautiful.
Hello.
Well, I hope it was worth it. Too bad it didn't even get recorded. So yeah, what are your thoughts, John? How would it be done? Surgical operations. Since Cyberpunk, the chip, I think, into my brain. Gills, I think, would more than actual gills. Maybe some mods into my lungs. Okay, so, yeah, some modifications, technological modifications placed within your body. Very cool. Now, it's, like I was saying, if they could just replicate the technology or the biological technology behind gills, that would be already amazing in itself. That means we could endlessly be going into water. Maybe just need batteries.
I mean, I do think that the difficulties with replicating the things with gills is that it's directly integrated into the bloodstream in such a way that the oxygen is pulled out and yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm. So,
now, for that to
it
work,
would have to
put
be
in quite an British amount because, unlike fish or other creatures with gills, they have streamlined themselves to a point where they live in the ocean, can propel themselves with a minimum of energy. Humans are not exactly cost efficient with energy, meaning that even with gills, you'll have to move constantly to, stay oxygenated. You could stand still and
Yeah.
drown.
It's very
Like shark.
possible.
Yes, like sharks, but that is a hypothesis. If you magically can suck air out of water, that would be interesting.
On the topic of sharks, going into water, even with gills, humans are not exactly the fastest swimming things out there.
True, true.
Also, you won't really be able to go very deep without any additional equipment because while you might be able to breathe underwater, your body is still not accustomed to dealing with the pressure change.
Yes, it would be very heavy on you.
You'd have to wear a few
No.
more extra things there, Jono, which I'm sure you'd be okay with.
Yeah, so even if you go down too rapidly and get too deep, even with gills, your lungs will still burst from the pressure itself.
All
That's
the
what
blood, if you race too far, you will get diving sick.
or that.
Dear Lord, why?
It's fascinating, and considering that fish, we do have fish bigger than us, which is a good head start with this one, because other creatures such as lizards and spiders and other creatures that we're trying to duplicate and get biological technology from are so much tinier than us that it's hard to apply. But since we do have fish larger than us, then at least we have something more comparable to our size of anatomy to make this closer to a possibility. Raincrawler says, I thought the same. Love gills technological way, in my opinion, would be by electrolysis, which I just Google searched that. Black manta suits uses electrolysis, taking the air on the water, in the water, just like a submarine. Okay.
On the topic of gills, there's two other things to consider. Specifically, where do you want those gills to be? If they're on your neck, that's going to be a bit uncomfortable, especially if you need to, scratch. And then the other option is to have your gills on the midsection of your body, in which case I would just like to divert you to look up the show The Boys, where they have an Aquaman ripoff, and he does not have a particularly pleasant time when engaging with a female, as she starts
Good question.
putting her fingers inside his gills and not comfortable.
I was thinking armpits, but
They're a little like the side of the midsection where the lungs normally would be, and go down to
yeah,
where
there too.
pants usually reach you, not going under them.
I'd prefer like the trapezoid region behind your neck and back, so upper back near neck kind of area by your shoulders, somewhere there, so they're kind of out of the way, so nobody can punch them easily when you're in a fight, for example.
Again, that particular area is quite exposed, meaning they dry very quickly while you're on land. So you have them
If you're
covered,
online, sure.
and if you get an itch or something unpleasant on the side, it's it's not good to scratch gills. Let's put it like that.
Well, you can't forget that they're there, but if you do, then yeah,
Yes.
not fun. Okay, beautiful. So I guess I'm playing a name game here today. If you guys know name game, you go in a circle and you have to repeat everybody's name that was before you. So we had Jono with gills, Chris with enzymes, immortality enzymes, I'll just call them to keep it short.
Rejuvenation enzymes.
Rejuvenation enzymes. Pro with a double brain or a separated brain. C with an extra arm or two, and Boggo with tendrils. Did I miss anyone? Not yet. Raincrawler, you can share anytime you want over on YouTube there. And let's go on to the next person then. Let's shout out, let's see, who else? Okay, I think the rest of us are in the similar hemisphere here. So let's go down the list. Dande, thank you for being patient. And awesome to have you around here today. I think you were around last time as well. Donde. Cool. He's typing something out or copying something. Pro's excited. Damn it, Pro. We're gonna have to design some kind of pants for you that you won't be able to remove by yourself, so you can't do such things as you want to do. Come on, Dundee. All right, he's going. Okay, I'll stop rushing him. Okay, who else do we have here? After Dande, we do have JMPF, and then myself, if I have anything interesting to say. Dande, for a modification, I would like to get something done to where you could become invisible like Reptile from Mortal Kombat, which would be neat to have. For what purpose, I have no idea, other than to just disappear and scare people into thinking I'm a ghost. The other would be eyes fixing them up. Cool, another eye fixer-upper. Huzzah. Okay. I could get that. So kind of more of a camouflage. So Reptile, particularly the one of the movie Mortal Kombat, was a little bit more like akin to almost Mystique of X-Men, although she'll change even more in form, so not quite that level that he's talking about. But again, we have a little bit of this in our biological technology in chameleons, and even better so within octopi that can change color really fast, and even textures on their skin, which is pretty damn amazing. What are your thoughts, Monsterites? See, Chris, would you guys
I mean, the ability to camouflage yourself would be useful until you consider the fact that you would be butt naked.
That's one thing to consider, especially if this is a military thing. They would be unarmored.
You know, just in general, having skin that can change your color. This, you know, skin is the frailty, rather frail and rather unusable if it's not, you know.
I can't deny I have, on occasions, wished for invisibility to do naughty
Unmentionable things.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That.
Okay.
But yeah, it is good, but it's not something that I would take over rejuvenation enzymes.
For sure.
It is useful, most definitely, both for personal and professional life.
Right.
But
right.
it's
very specific.
It's not my top priority.
Yeah. It would be very, very entertaining for one. Or even if you could change tones in your skin, which I don't think will be out of reach, as we can already almost give someone a shot and change the tone of their skin so they don't have to go and lay in the sun all day or in those sunbeds. Just get a shot and darken your skin and brighten their skin, or maybe they'll turn it into pills in the near future. But something that can even allow you to adjust your skin via using your smartphone. Today you want to have a nice tan, you turn it a bit darker. You want to wear some nice darker clothes, you want to create a contrast, so you brighten your skin tone. That's certainly in the realm of possibility and usage, particularly how focused humanity is on self-appearance and modeling and Hollywood and fashion.
I mean,
I definitely think enough money would go into researching it. And yeah, again, for one, it would be fun. It would be, I'd say, it would start off mostly as something for entertainment, something for the rich, just flashiness. So, interesting. I like that one. So who mentioned that again? That was Dande. Thank you, Dande. Become the strongest one. By the way, Dande, if you have something else, no, you're still the Dande with the chainsaws. That's what you are. That's what you'll stay. Because I know you weren't sure a little bit last time you were thinking about a different monstrous self. Let me read here on behalf of Raincrawler. He said, functional gills that doesn't need to be kept in humidity, which I agree, yeah. If we were to make gills or add something, make sure we don't need humidity or water to keep them constantly wet, as that would be very annoying. At first thought of membranes on hands and feet, but it would be a problem if you need to wear gloves. True. But that's why I detracted from the whole armpit idea, as sometimes you just need to close your arms when you're in the water. It bothers me a lot in Hellboy when Abe wore gloves and his membranes magically disappeared. Did they though? The gloves just covered them, and he had the gills around his neck, which had the nice water tube around for realism. That was cool. But maybe they made his fingers thinner so it looked like they took off that makeup, which they obviously did to put on the gloves. Good catch there, Rain. Okay. Okay, silence. Okay, so I'll go on. So that was a Dande with... Okay, let me read this off correctly. Dande with... I'm already screwing up. Dande with skin-changing ability. Jono with gills. Chris with rejuvenation enzymes. Thank you. Pro with a separated brain. C with extra arm. And arms, I'll just say arms. And Bago with extra tendril. Okay.
I can now only imagine myself with that Nintendo game.
And let's go with JMPF. JMPF, our friend. What do you have to share today? You can speak or type. Something ironic is that I'd love to have implanted wings. Cool, finally, wings. Maybe I could be...
I have other reasons for why that wouldn't be a good idea, but go on.
Maybe I could beat my acute fear of heights. Totally agreed with you. And if I do, then I'd have a lot of fun. Very much agreed. And JMPF, are you another fan of improving your eyes so you don't have to wear glasses? If you are, get on the boat.
Welcome to the group.
I tattooed...
I don't use glasses.
No glasses. All right. He's a lucky one among us. One of the lucky ones. I think Pro wears glasses. Yeah, he wears glasses too, so he wouldn't mind that. So good answer on that question, JMPF. I have a similar fear. Recently, Angry Joe made this cool video where he went to Puerto Rico, and there's one of the longest, what is it called, skyline? Is that right? Zip line. If you guys know what a zip line is, you attach yourself to a line and you just fly across the ground upon this strong line. But this line is like a mile. He went on some of the longest ones in the world, and that was just really fascinating to see, because that's, if you're afraid of heights, that's scary.
That must be what
hell.
flying is like.
It is, right, and that's what he wanted to experience. And I really commend him on it, because he's afraid of heights, and he went from nothing of that kind of experience to fully going one of the longest ones in the world. And it's so cool, because just zipping along for like a mile, so it gives you enough time in your mind, especially if you have that fear, to kind of compose yourself and take in that moment and enjoy it, you know? Because if it's a zip line for like 5 minutes, it's just going to freak you out, but you're not going to really... It gives you that adrenaline shot, so you still feel good a little bit at the end, but you don't accustom yourself to it. If you're flying for over like 2 minutes, 3 minutes like that, you can compose yourself and drop some of that fear more comfortably. Seems like a really pretty cool thing to do. And if you want to feel like Superman. So, yeah. Okay. Any thoughts on that? And anybody else, or does anybody else here have a fear or not a fear of heights? Who doesn't have a fear of heights at all?
I mean, I have a rationally concludable respect towards high places.
There is no such thing as a fear of heights. There's only a fear.
Fear of falling, yes, yes.
Right.
And on the topic of flight, I gotta say it's impractical, not particularly necessary, considering we have machines that do that.
I mean, the ability to fly, let's say, inside a town where you are basically is constricted by limitations. It would be nice to have that third dimension to abuse while everyone else is left on the ground, so to speak. But if everyone starts doing it, you quickly lose that advantage.
So, see, at the beginning you were reluctant with the ideas of the idea of wings because you have a fear of height. Is that why you mentioned that?
No, the thing is that wings are, like everything, muscle. And muscles, for all intents and purposes, need not just training, but protein and energy. And energy is mostly consumption, and to burn that much, to fuse them, would definitely make you a lot more, what's it called? Not vulnerable, but more consumed to use them. There's a price to pay. And not to mention the fact that if you are to get the tale of Icarus.
Icarus.
That is, I don't think that would be relevant in this case, but let's say that if you run out of the juice to be able to stop falling, well, too high up, there is very little in the world that can stop you from not entering a free fall from God knows how high you dare to fly.
That is true.
And the logic behind that would be that the energy that you'll have to use to get up there might as well drain you before you'll know if you had the energy to get down again. Which is, it's not very practical. It's very unpractical at worst, and
now we
best,
didn't ask JMPF how he'd go about having them implanted, because now you're talking about biological, but it would most likely at this point not be biological. So JMPF, what are your thoughts on how you would have them installed? Would they be jetpacks? Would they be wings like hovercraft, propellers? Or would you want to go biological, like C was saying? Which has its handful of issues there. You would have to eat a lot. Compared to an average person. A little bit more. Again, it would be fun to see how our brain would handle an extra appendage or two like that. And it would be great if these wings were like arms too, like some dragon wings or wyvern. Because then you could have hands, or they could be like extra arms as well while being able to fly. Okay. Oh, I'm scrolled up. That's the problem. Mechanical folding. Okay, so he said mechanical folding. So we're going more of the Marvel, one of the Marvel approaches here. Okay, and it would be folded.
I feel like what was his name?
Cool.
Was it Green or something? There was a hawk guy person.
Green Arrow?
No, a hawk, like flying. Vulture.
Oh.
He was green, that is...
Right, there's Vulture, but there's also in the Marvel movies, I forgot, the black guy, he has wings. With Captain America, right? Come on, guys, you know this stuff better than me.
Yes, Falcon, I think.
Falcon, yeah, he had something like that.
That does,
Falcon
however,
was
require certain. He does also have a jetpack, if I remember correctly.
True.
He does, and he is red. Vulture is the green bird-themed bad guy.
Yes, he actually has turbines, or what's it called? Spinny things.
I'm not sure what
propellers
Vulture actually
inside,
has.
which would
Not
allow
all
him to
versions.
stay stationary compared to Falcon's constant movement in flight.
Both of them, I do believe, have both turbines and jetpacks for propulsion.
I mean, vultures seems to be the ones that are the
Yeah.
most helicopterish.
So JMPF, you need
At
the
least to understand my
jetpacks.
use of the term jetpack in this one.
Mm-hmm. He says he'd like the aesthetics. Yeah, definitely. If they're foldable like that, and that is pretty cool. Okay, so the opposite of Jono. We're going into the air here. Now, if these jetpacks would be waterproof and all of that waterproof, you could just go right underwater with a mask on. That would work too. Wonderful. Okay, so let's see here. That's everyone. So from flying to swimming to that. Okay, I guess for me, mine was a little bit more along the lines of what Chris was saying at the start. But again, I didn't want something OP only. So what I was thinking in terms of that was micro robots within my body.
Nanomachine, son.
Yes, nanobots that would destroy cancerous cells, help me rejuvenate by either activating certain chemicals within my body or releasing some. And I could see when Chris was talking about the enzymes and how uncontrollable that becomes. I was thinking actually one of the benefits of the bots could possibly be that they could be controllable, that I could use something to coordinate them. If I don't want that anymore, I could just deactivate them or have them leave the body or something. So you have that benefit there as well, possibly.
In what I was referring to when I said it could expand cancer, what I meant was we need to tailor it to so it knows which cell types to replicate and which not to replicate.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So yeah, that would be a kind of option for possible immortality or just prolonged life. But it would just be nice to avoid viruses, regular common viruses, and not getting sick. Or drowsy as well. You can get a little adrenaline boosts and things. But we wouldn't have to keep everything in balance because the nanobots would. But that would
The
be their
ability
purpose.
to never sleep sounds really dangerous.
Yeah,
So much
I
can
wouldn't
go
want
wrong
to...
if it just fails once.
Right. That would mean they'd have to be working overtime, and if they're working overtime, they need energy. So I'd probably be overusing them, which would become possibly costly or something. So yeah, I wouldn't want to ruin the natural cycle quite like that, or even to the point where I eat anything I want and they just break down the food and keep the nutrients. I wouldn't want to cheat. Well, to that point, maybe that'd be a pretty fun cheat every once in a while. But to the point of not having to sleep at all, I wouldn't want to do that. But
Oh
it
well,
all depends
this is
on the
this GIF here.
possibilities.
This triggers my fear of heights.
Yes, same. That's a big fear of falling. And
Of all
that is
places
where-
here, I shouldn't fear falling, but this GIF here just triggers my.
Really? I think that one's
I said-
so far off the ground that I don't feel the fear anymore.
It's for me. I feel it, and that's why that makes it strange because you don't fall.
Right.
You fall, but you don't fall.
When it comes to that, particularly if it's more of a fear of floating away than falling. Because if you're falling, at least you know what's going to happen to you. If you're floating away, oh boy.
Right. You don't know where the hell you're
Reminds
going
me
out
of
there. And for
that
how long.
song from the Brave Little Toaster.
The fear of floating away.
But that's
New
where
fear.
I think going biological over mechanical would be better, Arthur, because with the case of the nanobots, they will need some kind of fuel, which they might need to extract from the body, but since they are machines,
True.
machines tend to require more a high efficient fuel than regular biology. While the enzymes
I
themselves that
mean, I
Arrrrr
haven't.
was
They
thinking
could
of
work on body
literally.
heat because they're microscopic, and that heat would quickly compress inside of them. But then
Well,
again, it would be that they might decide that they need more heat, and then just
No,
boil you alive.
that's a good point.
yeah,
But
because with the enzymes, they just need to. They literally feed off the nutrients inside your
right,
very bloodstream, so
and
it
they
allows you to
reproduce
eat
too.
a bit more than usual due to a heightened, due to a heightened metabolism.
Hmm.
And they also do feed on the dead cellular matter that they repair. So it is just you have to make them so they know which cells to replicate, which
Yeah.
not to, and you're basically golden. See, that is where the other one other biological advantage of the Zerg comes in, where they have, in addition to, they are born with two specific genomes, each Zerg organism. One rapidly mutates, causing various amounts of mutations, and the other is designed specifically to hunt down those mutations and destroy them. So only the best, most effective, and efficient mutations remain, allowing the Zerg organisms to be at peak prime condition with the best upgrades possible to be derived from evolution. And that's why they've evolved. I believe that's how they evolved the ability for said enzyme to not replicate cancer cells, because that is easily spottable by the mutation hunting genome, and it's not efficient for the body.
Hmm.
Can
That's
you
a good
imagine a
point.
civil war between those inside of the beings?
I would
That is
think.
literally what is happening every day inside every Zerg organism. That's how they evolve so fast.
I would also think that by
So,
the
what if we
time.
all irradiate them and they'll be filled with cancer? Would the enzyme be irradiated too?
Well, yeah. See, some Zerg organisms have in fact been able to get radiation into them, specifically in strain of Ultralisk, and due to that, they are actually regrowing faster, capable of actually reigniting themselves after death of the organism. So it's there is likely going to be a number killed initially, but considering how quickly they evolve, you're just going to make them immune to radiation.
I would hope that, or think that by the point that we do have nanobots of that amount and scale and ability, hopefully the energy factor will be better resolved by that point. But with what you were saying with the enzymes, then yeah, if you are tired of life and you don't want them replenishing everything, just insert, give yourself a shot with another type that destroys that type of enzyme, and you're golden. So yeah, there's also that benefit as
Biology
well.
is infinitely more complex than just yeah. But
You
yes,
don't really need that. The thing I'm saying is the enzyme just prevents you from aging. You can always, jump from a high place, get gnaw on some poison, or just blow your brains out with like a gun or something. You can still kill yourself. Just aging won't kill you.
And then we'd have necromorphs.
great necromorph. I
The
would be
thing-
surprised if that was your choice, Arthur, because it would be fun to turn into a planet.
It's not really
Now we're
necromorphs.
talking.
The once the organism stops being alive, the enzymes essentially go dormant and the body begins to rot and decay. So if there is a but if that is, they do go dormant if through some in the verse specifically, there's psychic means where the enzymes are triggered once again and enhanced via psychic means that cause dead organisms to regenerate back to life. But without any such immense stimuli, it's just they go dormant after the organism ceases to function living.
I can imagine the first zombie outbreak amongst the Surge actually were taken care of.
Or zombie
Replying
outbreak
to
amongst what?
Donde there.
Zerg.
Oh,
Zerg
it's
having zombie outbreaks weekly.
oh, it's
Oh
not
no,
a
these
zombie
dead ones.
outbreak. It's literally the organism comes back to life. It's not
Yes,
a
and that is
zombie
why
thing.
I call it zombie.
It's not a zombie. That's
So,
literally just
okay.
a brand new living organ. Whatever.
On a quick question on a controversy then. There's the controversy of stem cells. Stem cells are very adaptable cells in our body, but to get them, we have to extract them from a person or an undeveloped being, or a still
Fetus.
developing being, like a fetus. Yes. How?
I
Where?
do feel that's a lot better alternative than just aborting them. That's the cynic in me talking, but
You mentioned a key word here. You mentioned abortion. So let's say it would be unethical just to raise fetuses and take stem cells. But let's say we have a clinic where abortions are done, and all these babies that are already decided to go to death,
formed and semi-sentient.
we
for all
extract
intents and purposes.
stem cells from those babies that are going to be aborted. So it doesn't completely go to waste for humanity's benefit. What do you guys say about that? Is that more? Would you go along ethically with that? Would you go along
I would
ethically
say
with
it should be one
developing
of those
fetuses, or
organ
neither?
donation thing.
I'm one of those guys that is fine with just growing artificial embryos to harvest for stem cells, so I'd be fine with that.
Does clones have souls? Do they
I
dream?
don't care.
Wow, and I thought I was a cynic.
Alrighty, so okay, so again, that was my OP answer, but as far as looking at this reality, if I had to deal with something now, and it was only me, but I had someone that could do something.
If you save enough people, do they really care where the embryos are where the stem cells are coming from? Does anyone really ask the question if everything is fine and dandy?
Hey,
Fine and
bread and
dandy.
circus, man. Bread and circus.
Right, it becomes a sort of religious / spiritual matter for those who believe that there's a
Moral.
soul in this fetus and such things. If it's a fetus and the mind's not very developed, I don't have it there. We'd have to research that crossing point, but especially if they're dead, then yeah, why not use them, like Pro said. But if it's a very early on developed fetus, I personally would say, yeah, let's use the cells. If you're going to believe in a soul or not, I wouldn't believe it's in there at that point or whatever. So even in that case, I would say, go for it. Until a certain point where the mind is developed enough, and then it would feel a bit more unethical, like you're actually killing a being. And just...
I just realized something. We are named the Monstercast, and now I think we earned that name.
There's also the factor of one reason why, simply the principle of it, that we'd be able to, make use of the aborted feeds. I'm okay with it, but there is one particular reason which I'm actually going to stand against that, because my major prerogative is I want for as few people to suffer as possible, and because end of the day we are humans, and humans have this trait of being god-awful creatures at times. If it is made okay for aborted fetuses to be harvested for such purposes,
Please don't use the word harvest.
it is basically that, and so
You just defiled one of the purest words.
So there's doubtlessly going to be some of those bad people that abduct humans capable of reproducing for the sole purpose of causing them to miscarry and harvest the fetuses from them.
Yep, that's a good point, and that would happen if it's not already happening. And you got a lot of corrupt rich people that can easily harvest.
If it helps people, then is the question, at what price are we willing to pay? And I don't think that I personally, despite my cynicism and all of the nice and lovely stem cells that could save my life from God knows what could go wrong inside my body, I kind of don't want to just do that. But if the option was there and I was actually lying on my deathbed, I probably would. despite my morals. And then it becomes an entirely different kind of monster. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to talk about the real monsters eventually here, and that's particular human
Doctors.
types.
Sorry.
All right,
Doctors
guys.
do good work. They work
Oh yeah,
hard.
so okay, so on the line of more this reality right now, what kind of modification I'd allow myself is probably just fangs.
Do I want Jonathan to become stem cells for another person?
See, what the hell are you talking about? Stop it. So yeah, I was
Maybe.
thinking fangs. Considering what I do and everything, because I was thinking I could make myself some crazy eyes or add horns. I even talked to you guys before how we came up with this discussion for today, because I was talking about body modifications I was thinking about for myself truly when I was younger. But I think at this point I would extend my canines a little bit and not just sharpen them, because and this is something you can get done right now. Some of your local dentists can actually do this and will, with your approval. Not only they can sharpen
Sounds
your teeth,
expensive.
they can sharpen your canines, but not only that, I would like them a little bit extended, nothing crazy. The reason why I chose this fangs, in other words, is because if I altered my eyes, it would be too striking. I'm okay with wearing crazy contacts and going out like that because you can replace them. Once you do something permanently, like giving yourself reptile eyes, it could be problematic in society. Changing skin, and I'm talking about my life as it is now. So doing what I do for work, still doing the channel. So taking everything into accordance, I'd probably just go with something simple like fangs. But now, again, going a little bit more OP on this one, outstretching the idea, I'd go with the bots or something like enzymes, as Chris brought up. So, any thoughts on that about simpler little modifications like skin color, horns, things like that? Anything of interest there?
If I want to change anything in terms of aesthetics, I can do so at a gym. I don't need it done via surgery, and unless it is something I need, I wouldn't really bother with it.
Right.
Same.
And again, this was purely aesthetics. It was nothing
Oh, for
useful.
Purely
purely
aesthetic,
aesthetics,
Although with the
don't know.
channel, it goes in with work, so there's a bit of work.
purely aesthetic,
as
I
well.
am happy with the human form as it is. Once it is properly crafted, which can be done through, just hitting the gym on occasion.
I agree. Indeed.
You gotta hit that gym really hard then.
Hey, you too, Z.
Me too.
Me too. Alrighty. Interesting topic. I enjoyed it. If anybody ever hears our podcast or finds it, anybody laughs
I
at
really
us for
hope
being
they don't know me in real life, because what I just said about fetuses, just no. Please
anyone
don't.
laughs at us for being nerds for talking about this. It's topics like this that really, I think a lot of the monster topics we talk about are quite relevant to reality and world and the future and how we develop things. And it's things like this topics like this that really push boundaries of where we go
Challenge us.
in civilization, with our civilization. And it's all these sci-fi movies, even knowing something like the Zergs, as Chris was talking about, from the video game. That's already, not only is it an idea, but of course the Zergs were inspired by actual science. So it's a back and forth, but the Zergs themselves are, again, an inspiration. If you're a child growing up and you're playing this game and you're reading this lore, that's quite an inspiration for you if you're already smart in biology and all this, to go in that direction to replicate what you've learned of written by someone else science fiction. So all this works back and forth and as inspiration for us developing as a civilization and learning
That's
and
how we
developing.
got submarines.
So yes, if anybody ever tells you that it's ridiculous that you spend a Saturday talking about monsters, you tell them it's far, far deeper than that, and it's probably deeper than they would understand or care to understand.
Yes.
So huzzah to everybody
Huzzah.
here, because that's what we do. And
Nice.
it's a formed explanation, especially when you spend your life or so much time doing videos or something on the term of fantasy, science fiction, or monsters. If somebody asks me, what do I do on YouTube? Make videos about monsters. But then, if I have the moment, or I just don't tell them what I do, because I'd rather have that moment to elaborate what that really means. So it's not just, I don't know, horror monsters. Because when people hear monsters, they always think, for one, negative, and for two, just total fantasy or horror. A lot of people just connect monsters with horror movies, right? But it's a whole realm of it.
Proud
And
enough
it's,
to be associated with Godzilla.
yep, that's right. And for me, for the most part, it's always been an extension of animals, of wildlife and ecology. That's what monsters have, for the most part, been for me. So let's discuss. Thank you guys for joining me, and sorry I've been late today. I'm glad we still went through this, and it's still been wonderful. I'm glad I came here. I was actually considering not... I was just planning on turning on the app so that Pro and Jono don't get their rush from saying that they're running things now. But apparently they still... I was too late. Their pants already came down.
Dear Lord.
But, so I'm sorry. So I was considering just kind of sleeping or trying to sleep through. But I saw how many of you guys were on the chat. And I knew I wouldn't fall asleep anyway. I have a terrible time falling asleep, especially if I'm already awake. Okay, did that make sense? After I've already woken up, going back to sleep. That's a little better. So I knew I wouldn't fall back asleep, and I didn't want to leave you hanging. I wanted to at least see if you guys are still open to the idea of doing this, so I'm glad I did, and I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad you guys stayed. I hope Bago comes back. I hope he's all right. So next topic, I had some idea for it earlier on, but let's hear your guys'. So Raincrawler over on YouTube, everybody here? We're just giving you the opportunity to host the Monstercast. It's funny, I let you guys host it one time. It was Gargamel around and Chris, but I was kind of giving you guys a test, and I thought somebody would run things, but Gargamel did a little, and I forgot who else was there, but it just didn't work out. We'll see in the future. We'll have to organize these happenings. So anyway... How about the next topic, guys? What are your thoughts?
What's the next topic?
Since
I
I'm...
do not have anything particular in mind.
Anything unparticular, Chris?
I don't have anything particular in mind.
Right, but do you have anything not particular in mind?
Accidentally have to say no.
I did mention at the end here, and I did make the new group or cavern here for this. Not sure how that'll go. It will maybe appear on the channel in the future. It all depends how the channel goes and everything on YouTube and the whole business and platform. But I did bring up momentarily here real life monsters. So I don't think we've ever done
in real life.
Yeah, a monster cast on real-life monsters, and we can discuss how that could go, either including animals or just talking about humans.
I mean, I did involve that coconut trap that one time.
True, we did involve them. Yeah, so maybe just humans. And what I mean by, as I explained in the cavern too, because this is always an issue among people, is understanding what would be considered a real-life monster, especially with people and such. So I call it the extremes. I would say anyone, so mass murderers. Not one person that killed one person. We're not trying to make these people famous here now. Make note of that, please. But something in the extreme, so mass murderers. Massly or extremely insane. Someone that's done extremely insane things. extremes as far as biology. So huge people, people that are just oversized, people that are undersized, people that have some extreme ability that really nobody else on the planet is near achieving. So we're not just talking like record breakers, because that's something that can be trained, but something that's just
Monstrous.
naturally in them, that's already in an extreme. So things like that. So that's one choice. Yes, Pro, you had a good one. Pro had a great one, and that's unpopular monster opinions. That's our second one. And then mushroom monsters, of what said last time. Mushroom monsters, which is a topic I don't remember if Raincrawler or Louis Zenadog always brings up. I think it was Louis. We can put that one up as well. Give him a surprise if it wins. Anything else? That's already 3. So let me type them out. And
Well, I have to go to bed today with thinking of the ability of harvesting fetuses. Thank you, Chris.
there you
You're
go.
welcome.
Just a giant field of these small glass bottles with ungrown, unliving creatures inside. Yes.
Again, I wouldn't think it'd be totally unethical, depending on how and to what point that would be done. But it would look creepy. Maybe. There's already a lot of stuff that looks creepy if you go to a lab, so I wouldn't worry too much about that one. Okay, guys, let's vote. Real life monsters, unpopular monster opinions, and mushroom monsters. We got 3 options here. Raincrawler.
What would unpopular monster opinions imply?
So that's pros. I think just something that, a topic that most people would disagree with you on. That is monster related.
Pineapple on pizza.
Even like a movie.
I'm okay
Everybody
with it.
hates this movie, but you think it's a great movie. Or everybody thinks this guy is a villain, but in your opinion, he's a good guy. Just things like that. Anything monster related that is unpopular opinion. Pro said. So, we do have that. Raincrawler, share your opinion with us. Stop deleting your messages. I want to see them. Don't say that pineapple on pizza is good. Pineapple.
That's my favorite.
Shut up
pizza.
with the pineapple. It is good pizza, actually,
You love it?
JMPF. Anchovy. God damn it, I've been hearing about anchovies on pizza my whole life, but I've never seen a single pizza with anchovies on it in real life
Same.
anywhere. Right? It's such a common thing to hear, but I've never seen that. I've never seen it being sold. I've never seen anybody eating it. I'm not close to it. I'll try it. I've had a seafood pizza, but anchovy. Is that Italian at all?
I've had tuna with onions on it. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. I've had Mexican style pizza. Jono,
To be
is
fair, I did one have this time where it was end of the week and I wanted to do something sinful. So I ordered myself a half pizza with tuna and onions and half pizza with pineapples. It was
Wow.
delicious.
only pineapples, no chicken or meat. Okay. I mean, I like pineapples and chicken because usually that's how they make it here if they do pineapple style or Hawaiian style pizza. But Jono, since you're in Italy, is anchovy a traditional thing? Is it something you'll actually see on pizza there? You did say it's good, so... Oh, it is. Wow, so that's like a... Wow. So that's like a real traditional thing. Okay, so rather than being very untraditional, like what I was maybe thinking, since I've never seen it, it's actually a traditional thing. And isn't traditional pizza like only with tomatoes on it, too? Not actual like meat or pepperoni?
I don't know.
That's what I've been hearing. And the picture that Jono sent me looked kind of weird, and it looked like it didn't have meat. I don't know. And I don't know why we're talking about pizza at this point. Italian pizza. Actually, in town where I come from, this pizza, it's similar but not proper pizza called focaccia, which has anchovy as main ingredient. I see. Okay, got you. Alrighty, guys, let's take a vote so I can let so you can go peacefully.
I kind of just want to have mushroom monsters out of the picture and just I'm gonna vote mushroom.
You're gonna vote mushroom. Thank you.
I'm gonna go for the unpopular opinion.
Unpopular opinion. John deleted my comment. What was it? Raincrawler says, man between werewolves and the unpopular monster opinions. Next week, Dande, right?
I wish dinosaurs.
Oh, yes.
become
Thank
new
you. Raincrawler. Damn it, you guys rock. Thank you for shouting that out. Even Dande forgot. Next week, well, even though he's going to do it on a Friday, we're also going to shout out. So, if you want, Dande, it's up to you. But if you want to save the images of people's night monster creations, I'll share them at the beginning of our Monstercast. Let me make sure we get that Monstercast going, as that'll extend the time on it. I'm sorry, guys. What I should do is, if we're not going to have a Monstercast, if I know I'm going to be late, I'll just let you know ahead so you guys don't linger about. Is that better?
That's probably a good idea.
Okay.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, I'll definitely do that. So, next week we will be talking about, so everybody out there, for Monster Creating Challenge, the Monster Creators Challenge is going to be ending next Friday. So you can join after or before Fridays with Pro with Dande and look over all of those and have that shared. But next Saturday, Monstercast, we may do that as well. We may share those. So the theme again was night monsters that come out at night. Okay, Raincrawler voted unpopular monster opinion. Pro unpopular monster opinion. Dande mushroom. So we got 2 for mushroom and like 4 for... Oh, JMPF also mushroom.
It's just a case of I'm tired of looking at mushrooms at every point in time. I think it needs to get out there.
Yeah.
We need to talk about this.
Also voted, right, for that. So that's 3 for mushroom. Dande did mushroom, right? Okay, so let me go down the list here. Okay, Dande mushroom, Darth, unpopular. Okay, so I think it's going to be unpopular. JMPF mushroom. That's 2. Jono did... What did Jono vote? Jono! Is an unpopular.
Mushrooms on
okay,
pizza
he said unpopular.
is okay.
Chris
Mushrooms
said unpopular.
Is great on pizza.
I love
mushrooms are great in general. They taste good. I mean,
Okay.
when they're cooked right.
1, 2, 3, 4. I think 4 were mushroom. The rest not, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that 4 and 4? Is it a tie? Somebody help me out here. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is a tie if I don't vote. So I need a vote. Well, I was going to vote, I think, unpopular monster opinions. But since you guys are making the case, let's just do mushroom so we can get it out of the way. Maybe I should vote for that and break the tie. If we can get somebody else here to break the tie real quick, I think I'll do that. If you don't get your vote, Pro, do keep it for next week, because I do like that one. And I did kind of want to do that one, but they have a good argument. Okay, nobody's saying anything. Nobody extra. Dio could have helped here. We need to summon Aya. Who's Aya Brea? Is that Dio?
I don't know.
Okay. That's Griffo. All right, next topic will be, I will vote for Mushroom Monsters. Raincrawler said it's okay. I have his approval. We'll do Mushroom Monsters. I think in honor of Louis. Hopefully he'll be there. You might be surprised to see that we chose that, even though he wasn't here to vote for it. So let's do mushroom monsters. So it's going to be monsters, any type of monster that is your favorite, maybe mushroom type monster, talking about it, sharing it. For the love of mushrooms.
This is going to be fun, guys.
It will be fun, guys. All right, guys. Thank you for joining in. Thank you, Donde in text, Darth in text, JMPF in text and voice, Jono mostly in text, Chris in voice, Pro in
Thank you. You're welcome.
text, and C in voice, and Bago, who was in voice and left early, came late, and Raincrawler in text on YouTube, and Dio, who was here also in text. Guys, say your final farewells for the week or weekend. Chris, you know your part. Goodbye, everybody. Stay monstrous, my friends. Till next time.
Victor, as he would
Bye.
say, don't fear the unknown. Seek it out, study it, understand it. To which I would reply with, fear the unknown. Shoot it in the face with a shotgun.
When was the last time he actually said that himself?
Don't remember.
Quite a long time ago. Well, I like Necrons. You should like Necrons too. If you don't know what Necrons are, you should go look it up. You're going to like them. Oh, I think that's it.
That is
I'll
it.
bid you everyone
I'll
a
stop
good
this. Goodbye, Chris. Good night, and thanks for waiting for me.